Kayleigh McEnany, here with my co-host Emily Campagno and Harris Faulkner. Also joining us is Leslie Marshall and Jason Chaffetz. And this is Outnumbered. Happy Tuesday, everyone. It's full steam ahead for the Durham investigation. As we learn more people are cooperating and heading before a grand jury in the probe into the origins of the Trump-Russia hoax. This after that bombshell report about the Clinton campaign paying to infiltrate servers at Trump Tower and later the White House. Still, nearly all of the mainstream media, surprise, surprise, isn't reporting about any of it. But Fox News is. It is, because this is not reporting based on anonymous sources that Fox has gathered or the Wall Street Journal. No, this is John Durham. This is a court filing, Leslie Marshall, and the Wall Street Journal editorial board. I think they said it best. Of course, this reached all the way to the executive office of the president. That's the West Wing. That's the White House, where this information was exploited, which is stunning in and of itself. But here's the Wall Street Journal editorial board. I want to see if you agree. White House communications are supposed to be secure, and the notion that any contractor, much less one with ties to a presidential campaign, could access this is alarming enough. The implication that the data was exploited for a political purpose is a scandal that requires investigation under oath. Do you agree, Leslie?
Well, we have an investigation under oath, which is why I think it's right a press secretary not speak to it. It's an ongoing investigation, which the president himself said he would never get in the way of the Durham investigation. But let's look at what was filed, okay? And let's look where the information came. This started back in 2014. Neither President Trump was president, nor were he or Hillary Clinton even candidates at that time. This particular filing does not speak of specifically hacking, spying, or infiltration. What it does speak to is what internet companies regularly do and what internet companies have access to,
it's not
which
regular.
is they allow third parties to, and some people say infiltrate. No, they actually allow third parties to go in for domain name investigations themselves. We see this happening with our phone records.
So it's
police
proper
do it.
for a third party to work with Clinton campaign attorneys?
Since 9/11.
That's proper? That's not proper.
But I do think that the media across the board should cover this in full so that Americans can understand everything that is going on. If John Durham thought there was a smoking gun and a crime committed, I believe there would be indictments, and I believe there would be indictments
I believe there will be. So you believe it's proper for a third-party internet company to exploit information in the executive office of the president when President Trump comes into office, give that to a Clinton campaign attorney who's working with the Clinton campaign? That's proper? Nothing to see here, Leslie?
Even the Durham filing does not show any direct connection, whether up or down, from or to Clinton or the Clinton team in this motion. We have to look at specifically what was said, because in a court of law, you need those specifics. Let me just say this, Kayleigh. Somebody said this to me on my radio show, and I'm gonna borrow it, okay? If I give you the key to my house, and you come into my house, and you eat my food, and you read my diary, you haven't burglarized me, you haven't broken the law, you've probably got me angry and we won't be friends anymore, and that's what they're saying this is at this point.
All right, I want to start again with the breaking news and work our way forward. Kayleigh, it is significant that this Ottawa police chief has said he's not going to take action against breaking up that blockade. Look, the Prime Minister had the opening salvo. You want to talk all big and bad and say, well, I'm not bringing in the military just yet. You want to do all that? Then let all your local people sit down, all your LEOs sit down, and you take over and see how popular that makes you around the world.
Leslie,
your thoughts?
Thank you. I'm glad you got to me in time. I'm sorry. I know it's a surprise. I'm going to disagree with all of you, and this is why. Justin Trudeau has a responsibility to his nation, a responsibility to the people. The people in Ottawa that I have spoken to are afraid. Their security is threatened. Their economy is threatened. Our economy is being affected by this guy. And speaking of economy, 50% of the financing for this is coming from the United States. And
Leslie,
we have Americans going there now. Remember, our First Amendment does not carry over to Canada.
Why are they afraid?
Yeah, it's not like people are burning down cities like we saw in December 2020.
The police have said there is a special hotline for hate crimes right now in that province, specifically because of this.
But
there are
the existence of that doesn't mean it's being utilized, and embedded reporters have reported that there actually isn't a white nationalist or supremacist presentation at all there.
They are frightened by these individuals, and in addition to that, the majority, overwhelming majority of Canadians back what the government has done in Canada with regard to COVID, the mandates, the vaccinations. Harris pointed out rightly so, 90% of these truckers are in fact vaccinated.
That has
and
nothing
remember,
to do with their
blocking
position
that
on the
bridge
mandates.
isn't just about them. It's also blocking business to the United States as well, and that hurts us in our supply chain.
You know what, with just a few seconds, I want everybody to hear what Emily just said, because your questions were very important, and Leslie, I didn't know if you could hear her, but I want you to hear her.
I can't when you're all talking, I'm talking.
So tell me again about that hotline.
Number one, the existence of the hotline is not any evidence that it's being utilized. Embedded reporters with those truckers reported then that there was actually an absolute absence of any type of white supremacy or nationalism that was occurring there. Number three, the fact that 90% are vaccinated has no bearing on how they feel on the mandate. You can be vaccinated and protest and feel strongly against a vaccination mandate. So it's been completely peaceful there. The existence of fear on the part of some people that's not evidence of, that doesn't logically then infer that there isn't a threat. People being afraid are probably because outlets like CNN are stoking them in the mainstream media, because the reporters who are there
saying that the 911 lines have been clogged by calls from the U.S.
I didn't hear your question, but we have to go anyway. I mean, what
about the police stating that the 911 calls have sent police to other places and they were false calls coming specifically directly from the United States?
What does that have to do with the white supremacy hotline?
Welcome back, everyone. Far-left Congresswoman Alexandria Ocasio-Cortez stirring it up again, this time for comments she made in an interview with the New Yorker magazine about the nation's crime surge. AOC saying, quote, "We don't want to say some of the things that are obvious, like, gee, the child tax credit just ran out on December 31st, and now people are stealing baby formula. We don't want to have that discussion. We want to say these people are criminals, or we want to talk about people who are violent instead of environments of violence, and what we're doing to either contribute to that or dismantle that." Leslie, I think for some people what's hard to hear about that is that when they are in violent arenas and they see violent recidivists go free, then they think that maybe parsing words is inconsequential, and what we really need by our government is action to stop the violence. Your thoughts?
I don't agree with AOC that the child tax credit is the reason for an increase in crime. It's a multifaceted problem, and we've heard from experts across the board. You know, here we've all discussed what those are. Her second point, however, I do agree with, because I am fearful, and I hope I am wrong, and I hope she's wrong, and I hope our democracy continues and continues to shine like a beacon of freedom throughout the world. But I am concerned when I see some of the legislation being put forth. I am concerned when I see rhetoric and Stars of David and swastikas, which, you know, so many of our men, especially, and women in World War II gave their lives to fight to have that on our soil. I'm very concerned when I see some of the rhetoric in our elected officials toward each other, or threats, you know, from individuals towards somebody who might be Muslim or Jewish or a person of color. So I am fearful that our democracy may be dying, and not necessarily in the dark, but with a spotlight on it, although I don't agree for the reason the increase in crime that she cited, the child tax credit. I don't agree with that.
Well, the debate over masking our children is certainly heating up. We are just about 270 days or so from the midterms. Democrats cannot help but defy their own rules. Oh, it's so hard for them. Georgia Democrat Stacey Abrams, Los Angeles Mayor Eric Garcetti. I can't read that fast. We got to slow down the scroll. New York City Mayor Eric Adams, California Governor Gavin Newsom. All cop maskless. The list goes on. Now, New York Governor Kathy Hochul is faking backlash after posting maskless, a picture of herself at a bar for Super Bowl. Hochul ended New York's indoor mask mandate for adults last week, but kept the rules in place for schools and in nursing homes. Obviously, adults there. How complicated is it, Leslie, to have officials doing one thing but dictating that others do something else?
No, I see hypocrisy on both sides, not just on this issue with politicians and people, pretty much. We could take hours to discuss all those individuals. I always say you have to lead by example. So I don't care if it's a Democrat or Republican, it's wrong. Stacey Abrams apologized, which I've always taught my kids was the right thing to do. Own it. apologize and change going forward, and hopefully she'll do that. But let's be clear, Jen Psaki, the Biden administration, do not dictate our children wearing masks or not. Individual school districts do, and governors do. Here in the state I'm in California, we are going to be having no mask mandate this week, which a lot of people are excited about, but individual school districts are making their own decisions, many of them, my kid's school district as well, with the input of the parents.
The Bureau of Alcohol, Tobacco, and Firearms getting in on the Valentine's Day spirit by encouraging you guys to narc out your ex to the feds. The Bureau's official Twitter page tweeting this: Valentine's Day can still be fun even if you broke up. Do you have information about a former or current partner involved in illegal gun activity? Let us know, and we will make sure it's a Valentine's Day to remember. Leslie, I totally love a good revenge story, but I feel like my limit is, for example, my girlfriend that dumped glitter all over her cheating ex's apartment. Like, I think that the narking out for illegal gun holding, to me, borders on dangerous. What do you think?
First of all, I didn't know that Jason had dated Hunter Biden and Hunter was one of his exes. But that aside, karma will get the exes, and you should rat out anybody, ex or not, that is purchasing or owning an illegal weapon.
And then the DNC also getting into the holiday spirit of yesterday, sharing these totally cringeworthy Valentine's Day cards. Okay, check this one out. I love you more than President Biden loves ice cream. This one, Biden my time to be with you this Valentine's Day. This one, you're the MVP of my heart. And this one, depicting Kamala Harris's husband, that says, be my dad. I love you like Biden likes to sleep in, Leslie. What do you think about these Valentine's Day cards?
Okay, I am one of the most sarcastic and cynical people on the planet. You all know this. However, if Valentine's Day is about love, can't we spread a little love? Yes, it was cheesy, but I thought it was cute. It was cheesy, but I thought it was cute. Look, I think there are a lot of things that the Republicans do, and when they're in office and they're in power, that are cheesy. But you know what? When they do something that I think's funny or that I agree with, or if they were to do something like this, you know, I can embrace it for the day and for what it is.
You have a generous heart, Leslie. I probably don't.